Happy GAQA Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a fantastical, wonderful, magical Tuesday. I know I am. It has been busy, filled with making sure all of my homework is done for this week and getting back into the swing of going to school and enjoying this spring-like weather we've been having and getting to enjoy my very first thunderstorm of the season at 4 o'clock this morning when I was sound asleep, dreaming good, and this stupid thunderstorm decides to come and shake my house and about give me a freaking heart attack. I thought my house was coming apart. I love thunderstorms, but just not at 4 a.m. Not exactly expected. I did not even know that was in the forecast. So to hear that this morning, I thought it was the apocalypse. I was diving under the bed. But anyway, we're not here to talk about thunderstorms in college. We're here to talk about GAQA Tuesday, which is where I answer all of your Ghost Adventures related questions that you ask me all up on the Facebook page. And we have a short list, but a fun list this morning. And we are going to get started because I'm really excited to answer these questions and get this video to you before midnight. Okay? Okay. Our very first question is from one of our wonderful admins, Heather. Hi, Heather. How are you, my love? I hope well. And her question is, what are all of Zach's tattoos? Now, if you haven't noticed, I kind of like them. Zach has at least 7 tattoos that we are aware of. He has not went into detail of what all of them mean, but he has talked about a few of them, and we've seen them on more than one occasion, including in an episode of Ghost Adventures where he took his shirt off and showed us his tattoos, because apparently there was a spirit there who doesn't like them, and that benefited all of us ladies and Zach fans very well. But anyway, he has a modified, the ones that we do know about, he has a modified Celtic cross on his arm, which is kind of like a modified version of the GAC logo. He has Dracula's cross on his wrist because we know that he is like a Dracula fanatic. He's like all things vampire related. I mean, the man's even got his own set of fangs to which he can bite me with anytime. Just saying. Okay. And one of my favorites that I've seen on him is actually the one on his back, in the middle of his back, which is the winged skeleton. And that is his, I guess, representation of his possession at Poveglia Island. And as we all know, that was a really big thing for him. Like, he went through something really, really bad there. And we've only gotten like a taste of what happened there in the episode. But this perfect representation of almost like good and evil, like the battle that he had at Poveglia, the battle within himself. It just shows you that he put so much meaning into it. And on like a subtopic of meanings and tattoos, I think this kind of opened the door for me to talk about that a little bit. When you get a tattoo, you need to put something, you need to put it into, it needs to have a meaning. It needs to either be special to you or special to a situation. I know so many people who get a tattoo on a drunken night and wake up the next morning and go, what the hell did I do? It happens. I have 10 tattoos. And every one of them has meaning. Every one of them has been placed on my body for a reason. They depict someone, something spiritual, something emotional, something personal. They are a part of my story, and they're a part of me, and they are a part of my history, and they are a part of a legacy that I will leave behind for someone, whether it be a friend or a family member or my children. I will always be associated with them, and I'm perfectly fine with that. They show my personality, they show my heart, and what the important things to me in life are. You know, I have the man who taught me to love music on my arm and always go for my dreams. And my grandfather was a very big part of that. And so he was a band teacher for 35 years. He taught me to play every instrument I know how to play. And so of course I have a music note on my arm. You know, I have one girl friend in the entire world who is the center of my heart. And these 2 tattoos represent our friendship, and they're personal to us, and they are important, and they show our quirky side and our serious side and our zany side. And so those 3 right there alone are important to me and special to me. Just like Zach's tattoos are his story and his legacy, they all represent something or things that he's been through, experienced, felt, lived through, and so he has chosen, like I've chosen, to depict that on my body. And it's not for everybody, but it's for me and it's for him and for anybody else who has a tattoo. So good question. I like that because I got to talk about mine and I got to talk about Zach, and that was just the highlight of my day. Moving on. Our next question kind of backs up the first one, and it's from Kathy Drake, and she just asked, does the other guys have tattoos? Now, I don't know. We've all seen Aaron shirtless. I've never seen a tattoo on him. I don't know. He could have one hidden somewhere, you know, on his leg or his foot or his ankle, and we just don't see him. Billy and Jay, again, there's not a lot of like shirtless pictures floating around out there. They haven't really talked about it. Again, they could have them. They could be on their back or their shoulder. We just don't see them. With Zach's, I mean, they're here and here and here and, you know, here they stick out of the top of his shirt. You can tell, obviously, that they're there. So I can't say definitively yes or no. I have never seen anything. But like I said, drunken nights in Vegas, tattoos could end up anywhere. So they could have them. They may not. I don't know. But it was a really good question. Thank you. Our next question is from Bobby and Merritt. Hi, Bobby. And her question was, how did they all meet? Now, going back to the beginning, Zach met Nick at Nick's wedding. He was his DJ. That is so funny. I can't get over that. This is hysterical to me. Aaron met Zach through Nick because Nick and Aaron met at UNLV when they were both taking classes there. And Billy and Jay, you know, it's never really been like definitively said how they all met. I think simply Jay got hired probably by like the Travel Channel. I mean, Jay was a pretty big name. He's a pretty big name audio mixer, producer, director in Hollywood anyway. He had done major work on TV and things like this. So he was already in the business, and so I'm sure that was set up by the Travel Channel, and now they've just become friends and things like that. And Billy was living in California and was a DJ in Vegas, but he also at one point lived in California and did some work for them, just for with like their audio visual, like their set, like the cleaning up their EVPs. He was an EVP analyst, and so I'm sure it's all just in the business that, you know, you know people who know people who know people, and then you get hooked up with people, and then those people connect and they all become friends. But the original crew all met kind of through each other. They all just kind of cross paths in different ways. And so to break it down again, Aaron met Nick at UNLV. Aaron met Zach through Nick. Nick met Zach at Nick's wedding. And then the other two just kind of came into play. Not a very exciting answer, I know, but that's how it goes, yo. But it was a good question. Thank you. Our last question is actually a really good one, and I really, really like it. Just because it's different, but he always does this to me. Like, he always thinks he's giving me homework, and sometimes he does, but sometimes not so much. This one is pretty loaded, but pretty interesting too. And so, Mr. Walter Roswell asked me, for each member of the crew, in your opinion or factual, what location had the most effect on them, or which location did each of the crew have the deepest paranormal experience, Bobby Mackey's excluded? For Zach, I'm gonna probably go with, I'm gonna do all my opinion based because my brain's fried from homework and lack of sleep, so it's all gonna be in my opinion. But in my opinion, Zach's probably would have to be Poveglia. Obviously, I mean, he went through something pretty major there. There was some sort of a possession there that was pretty off the wall. I mean, Zach was pretty much not himself. So, and that, from what we now know, went on for like an hour and a half. But they only showed a certain amount of that possession because Zach, while he's not a parent, he does have a niece and nephew that he's extremely close to, and he's went on to say that he did not want them to see him like that, and so he showed as much as he could for the direction of the show, but he left as much of it out as he could. Another big moment for Zach, I think, would have to be like in the Hoyabachi Forest when they went to Transylvania and he had that experience out there in the field with Billy. That was pretty intense too. Something got him shook up pretty good. I mean, he was crying. That was pretty emotional. And so I think those two experiences for Zach probably had a pretty big effect on him, and a pretty big impact on him. And so moving on to Aaron, I think that hands down, Ireland. Aaron went through something pretty epic in Ireland. That was pretty scary for him. He was pretty miserable from that whole episode. I mean, you know, he was at the Hellfire Club. He said he felt like he'd been touched by Satan. He then went on to Loftus Hall, where he was physically ill. I mean, outside throwing up, physically ill. Something had a hold of him in Ireland, and it was scary. Aaron went through a pretty emotional, traumatic experience. That was pretty epic. And so I would probably have to say Ireland for Aaron, because I've never seen him act like that. I've never seen him experience anything like that. That was pretty heartbreaking to watch. And so I think for him that probably would have to be Ireland. And I know that Aaron was not himself for a few weeks after that. He was pretty out of it for a couple of weeks after going to Ireland and needed some help getting kind of right in the right mind frame. For Billy, the first one that comes to my mind is King's Tavern, hands down. If you remember King's Tavern, he went in and Nick had kind of been affected by something and was kind of almost like moving in like snail pace, like slow motion, like walking through quicksand. It reminded me of like something out of Paranormal Activity where like they'd pop up and they're just like walking really slow. I mean, it was like the perfect Paranormal Activity moment, and Billy had the same effect. And if you remember, he almost acted like he almost felt like he was having a heart attack. Like his hands were tingling and his arms was numb and he was nauseous and sweating, and so that was really scary. And I think that was probably a profound moment for him, because he just had probably never experienced anything like that before, not on that level of intensity. For Jay, just because he hasn't done a lot on camera up until recently, the first one that like really pops into my head that would be profound maybe for him on a maybe even like a personal level would be the one that we don't talk about, which is the ZOZO demon house. If you remember, Jay did the Ouija board session with Darren because he had a friend that had an experience with ZOZO. And so he chose to do that and was kind of affected by that a little bit. And so that was probably personal and profound for him because it, like I said, was personal. This is something that he's experienced firsthand. He knows what this is about, and he's watched a friend, try to kill him over this stupid thing and this stupid board. So that would probably have to be Jay's most profound experience, in my opinion. Good question, yo. You get a gold star. You all get gold stars because they were all really fun questions. I like those. Those are different and they're fun and exciting. But that's all I have for GAQA Tuesday. Now, I will be back tomorrow for What Should I Do Wednesday, where I answer all of your general paranormal related questions. And boy, oh boy, do we have a list already for you. Now, you submitted a question to me while I was shooting this video, and I did not get a chance to answer it today. Don't worry, you will be on the list for next Tuesday's video at the very, very, very top, and I will answer it then. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Much love, much happiness. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay warm, enjoy the sunshine. Live life to the fullest. I will see you guys tomorrow for What Should I Do Wednesday.